And this is Ken Kraetzer in New York City for CBSI Services. I have a chance to visit the Direct Marketing Association and have a chance to visit with a good friend, Chet Dalzell. And Chet's going to be a recipient next week of a Silver Apple Award at the Direct Marketing Club of New York's Gala Dinner and some other noted panelists. But Chet, good to see you and congratulations on that award.
Thank you very much, Ken. That's great. Yes, it's the Silver Apples are a recognition of leadership in the direct marketing field. So it's wonderful to have that honor bestowed. The 200 plus folks who have received the Silver Apples since 1985 are they are the people who are the movers and shakers in the business. So there's nothing I can't teach anyone about direct marketing. I've learned it all from them, but I think they finally recognized that somebody's got to tell the story. So the PR guy got the honor this year. So it's nice to have this recognition from my peers in the field.
Absolutely, very well deserved, and you've got a very distinguished group of fellow honorees, and one name really stands out as the golden honoree, and that is Lester Wunderman, one of the most distinguished people in the field of direct marketing over perhaps the last 50 years. Tell us a little bit about Lester Wunderman for some of the folks who may not have had the chance to have met him.
Well, Lester, I don't know personally, but professionally, I've certainly have crossed paths with him over the years. And in 1967, he's the gentleman who first termed direct marketing. Used that term, and so hence the story, quote, began. Well, the latest iteration of that story began. And whether you call it digital marketing, whether you call it direct, whether you call it data-driven marketing, to me, it's all direct. And I think in recognition of Lester, look what's come forward since 1967 in this business. We're several $1 trillion of the U.S. economy are traceable back to the practice of direct marketing. It's used by consumers and businesses everywhere around the world. Lester also was instrumental in building Wunderman worldwide, and indeed, it's a worldwide agency group now owned by WPP. And so having Lester at this particular Silver Apples event where he'll be receiving a rare golden apple for 50 plus years of service to the field, it's really just a tremendous, it's going to be a tremendous event, and it's certainly tremendous to be on the stage the same evening as Lester is.
Very good. And Chet, you've had a distinguished career in public relations, corporate communications, and a number of companies. Maybe if you would just tell us about some of the stops along the way and some of the best moments for you.
Yeah, when I first got a job at Direct Marketing Association in 1988, I honestly didn't know what direct marketing was. Yeah, I knew about direct mail and I knew a little bit about telemarketing, because I'd worked in politics. I worked in campaigns for 5 years and in civil service. So I had a little bit of taste to it, but coming to DMA really gave me the orientation about this business and the rich, colorful people that are part of it, but also the discipline and the measurability, to accountability that, to me, makes advertising effective. This is what effective advertising has to have, that measurability and accountability. And direct marketing has provided that accountability since day one. So to me, those are in vogue now with chief marketing officers, and everybody wants to know analytics and big data and what works, what doesn't, and I need ROI. Well, direct marketers have carried that banner from the start. So we're well positioned in this new age of clicks and data and understanding insights from that data.
And we're talking with Chet Dalzell, who's the Senior Director of the Digital Advertising Alliance and a long career in public relations, going to be honored next week by the Direct Marketing Club of New York, Silver Apple. And talking about award programs, we were up in Boston, and you were on the podium helping to deliver the Echo Award to the Campbell Ewald Agency from Detroit for their work for the U.S. Navy. Just tell us a little bit about what it was like to be at the Echo Awards and be part of that presentation.
Well, there are other advertising competitions in the world, but the Echoes are about real campaigns that produce results. And what can you say about Campbell Ewald and the U.S. Navy and this Project Architeuthis campaign was just phenomenal stuff. I think you actually spoke, Ken, right, to the folks from the agency. They that is data-driven marketing at its best. And the Diamond Echo, which they earned that evening as the top campaign overall, reflected innovation, data-driven insights, and talk about targeting, where it's the target audience raised their hand and almost came to the campaign rather than the campaign going to the audience. I think it was just a phenomenal effort, and love to see the U.S. Navy too getting that spotlight.
Absolutely, right before Veterans Day. Secretary of the Navy is going to be in New York City for Veterans Day for the parade this year. Tell us a little bit about the Digital Advertising Alliance. I know you're doing a lot to protect consumers and to help orientate people's viewing and choice on digital platforms, what ads they see. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. My career has been about building bridges, and one of the bridges important is trust in the online environment, how advertisers interact with data that's collected from websites that users to the internet, their browsing history, their app usage history. Marketers use that data to create relevant advertising, ads that are based on real behavior of consumers and business users online and in the mobile space. And the Digital Advertising Alliance program was structured as a way to give transparency to this data collection and to give choice, control to the consumer to say, hey, if I don't want that data of mine collected to show me an ad, I have the ability to stop that from happening through the DAA's industry choice programs. So 1 trillion times a month, there's a little blue icon in the corner of digital display ads, both in desktop and mobile, and that is the indication to the consumer that that particular ad was served to that particular device on that particular browser based on history of the browsing history, and or on mobile devices through app usage in the in-app environment. So that's a way for the consumer to get an understanding, all right, something's happening with this particular ad. Then, by clicking on that, you get information about why the ad was served to that device and a link to our industry choice, our consumer choice program. We have both a desktop and mobile web version of our consumer choice page, and then we have an app, a free app called App Choices that gives consumers that control in the in-app environment.
Very good. And Chet Dalzell, the Silver Apple Awards will be Thursday night in New York City, and our congratulations. Is there a best moment in your career that you think of, and maybe you'll think of that night?
Well, I don't know exactly which stories I'll tell, but I have a few. I remember when the anthrax happened, I was working for Hart Hanks at the time, and one of the affected postal facilities was in New Jersey, and Hart Hanks had a mail processing facility across the street. And while the Postal Service facility was on lockdown, the media were all huddled around the employees smoking outside of Hart Hanks, and they were with property of USPS all over the lot. And I remember that was crisis day for us, and handling how to handle the media that day, and also, but most importantly, and zeroing in on employee safety. How do we make sure our employees are safe when so much of Postal Service equipment goes back and forth between the facility of ours and the Postal Service's facility? So that was it got me started on a new crisis communications plan for the company.
Absolutely. I remember that time right after 9/11. So much key work by professionals protecting the Postal Service and that whole that era. So, Chet, just want to say congratulations and our best wishes from all of us and all your friends on receiving the Silver Apple next week, and we'll look forward to hearing all about it.
Thanks, Ken. It's going to be a great evening. It's one of the highlights of the direct marketing calendar in New York City, and we put on a great show.
Chet, congratulations, our best wishes, and thank you for a neat interview today. This is Ken Kraetzer in New York City for CBSI Services.